Welcome to From the Constituency. I'm Brian Calfano, and joined on this lovely Tax Day 2019 by Washington, D.C. area correspondent Charles Dahan. Charlie, as I call you, good evening. We'll say good evening. It seems like it's evening. It might as well be. I wish that this freaking day was already over. I think you're already in a bad mood because you realize that you have to pay a lot today to the federal government, correct?
I already paid it, so I've gotten over it. Some of us are not procrastinators like you, Dr. Calfano. Some of us get it out of the way.
Let me just say, full disclosure, I don't have any write-offs. I own nothing, and I was hosed. I again had to spend a lot of money, paying a lot of money to the federal government this year. And, you know, I had to tell you, I thought that things were going to get better because of this Trump tax cut. What in the world happened? Why do I still owe money?
Well, listen, I'm not your accountant. I don't know your personal case. But things should have gotten quite a bit better for you. The standard deduction increased quite a bit. It might just be that television correspondents like yourself are doing very well in this economy, making a lot of money. Right? Those of us hard-working stiffs like myself. But I did quite a bit better, right? The standard deduction was better. I don't have a lot to deduct normally, right? So I certainly saw some economic gains this year.
Seriously, though, you did better.
Absolutely, right? An increase in the standard deduction is good for most people that just draw a normal salary and aren't out there being bigwigs like yourself.
Right. So that's true. I mean, my team of accountants couldn't find any more deductions for me. It just didn't work. But, I file single, and I don't want to get into your personal life, but I file single, which
Let's not. I think that's really.
I file single, which means that the deduction went from $6,800 or something to $12,000. And if you're married, right, about that. And then if you're married, it went from $12,000 to $24,000, which is nice. And so, but you've been following the news on this. There's some complaint that the average return that folks have been getting is a bit less than it had been. But I mean, like you say, it just depends on your personal circumstances, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, the economy's been doing fairly well for the last 8 years, really. We've seen economic growth slow a bit, but employment has stayed incredibly strong. Wage growth hasn't increased much for most of us. I don't know, again, about yourself, those on TV, but for most of us, we haven't seen much in the way of wage growth. So this deduction does, for many of us that have made about the same salary each year, does provide some relief, certainly. Now, on the other hand, that also means for many of us, so I reside in Washington, D.C., right, and so I pay high local or high district taxes, and don't get a lot of relief there. And some of the federal services have obviously been cut. When you offer people some tax relief, and offer other people a lot of tax relief, right? Because
what other people?
More money.
Who's getting the big?
Well, listen. I was about to say, if you make more money, right, and you provide a deduction across the board for everybody, then those who are making more money are going to receive more money back. And regardless of what you think of that certainly has pretty dire consequences for the services that we provide.
Forget the services. Let's talk about the national debt.
Exactly. Right.
$22 trillion, and I'm still back on trying to figure out about Social Security. I interviewed Missouri Senator Roy Blunt several weeks ago, and his point is, look, if you really want to cut the debt, you're going to have to work on some of these programs. Some of them call entitlements, others call them, I guess, they don't like the term entitlement. A lot of people, they think it's like welfare or something like that. And really, it just means you're entitled to a certain amount of money because you've paid money in, like for Social Security. But there's an ongoing question as to whether or not Social Security is a separate amount of money that's in some, as Al Gore would say, lockbox, or whether or not it's rated by the Congress every year to pay for other things. I think it's the latter. But you get some technical people in D.C. going back and forth as to whether it's an on-budget or off-budget item. Regardless of all of that, the point is that we're talking $22 trillion. Cutting taxes but not cutting spending, Charles, it's not sustainable.
Well, it's certainly not sustainable, right? If you have less money coming in and you're sending out the same or more money as folks of the baby boomer generation, as the younger folks in that generation begin to collect Social Security, our expenditures are exploding, and the amount of money the last Congress made a decision to reduce the amount of money that was coming in, right? And so this notion that if you cut taxes somehow it'll spur the economy is marginally true for a short period of time. But if you think about it, people with a lot of money, as they get more money, aren't going to be necessarily spending it. I don't know what you're doing with your third house, Dr. Calfano, but in my one-bedroom basement apartment here in D.C.,
you've got one of those mini fridges. You don't need any more.
I just don't eat. That's been my solution.
You don't?
In this economy. Yeah, I know. It doesn't look like it. Should have seen me a few months ago. Anyway, so look, if you have less money coming in and the same or more money going out, it doesn't take a PhD in economics, or in your case, political science, to do that sort of math, right? Additionally, as we were just joking about, right, if you have $100 million, right, and you get another $1 million back, you're not going to be going out to the store buying a bunch of stuff, right? It's probably going to go in a savings account. It might go in some sort of safe investment, right? But if you have, $1,000 in the bank or no money in the bank, and if you're giving a tax cut to those people, they're going to immediately go out and spend it. And so in the last tax cut, we as a country made a decision that most of that money is going to go to people who are already paying a lot in taxes, regardless of the fairness or unfairness of that. That was the policy decision. And so that's not going to stimulate an economy or grow an economy or help as many people as if you provide a tax cut for the middle class or the working class or those who would immediately spend that money on needs.
Nobody likes paying taxes, though. Can we agree on that?
Well, sure.
Do you like paying? I don't know. You hesitated. Do you like paying taxes? Is it your patriotic duty?
Yeah, of course, no one likes losing money, right? Giving money away. That said, when you think about it, right, the sorts of services we get, I love this country, right? I get to live in the greatest country in the world.
What social services are you talking about? What exactly do we get for this money?
Well, listen, I think most folks or most of their kids in the 8th grade come and visit Washington, D.C. It's a beautiful city. And if you visit maybe some other nations' capitals, they aren't quite as pleasant or
okay, so I'm forking over all this money, so there's like some trimmed bushes in D.C. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it certainly helps, and we appreciate it.
Is it cherry blossom or apple blossom? What is it?
It's cherry blossom, and the
does that take money out of the account too? To plant some cherry trees?
I would encourage everyone to come. It's really a sight. It's unbelievably gorgeous. I go every year, despite being a resident. Certainly, for everybody here, it's a time you look forward to.
Well, we'll leave it there. Charles Dahan, we appreciate your time on this most auspicious of days. Tax Day 2019. Nobody likes it except apparently for Mr. Charles there. Listen, buddy, thanks. Appreciate your time.
Listen, I just like everything beautified here.
You just like civilization. We got you.
Yeah, exactly. I like civilization.